Tuna, salmon, mayo, rice, bonita flakes, salmon, mayo with tuna, tuna with mayo, seaweed, kelp, tuna, salmon, rice, ball, sesame, seaweed. 9 out of 10. Hey guys, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite animes, and today I'm going to do an anime review on Jujutsu Kaisen. So yes, I finally finished watching Jujutsu Kaisen yesterday, and damn, people are saying that it's great, and when I go into an anime, I don't expect much, because sometimes I would be disappointed, but damn, people are right when they say Jujutsu Kaisen is great. They're right. It's actually great. I actually enjoyed Jujutsu Kaisen way more than I thought I would, and this is gonna be an awesome review. So Jujutsu Kaisen is a manga written and illustrated by Akutami Gege. Is this his real name? Anyways, it is adapted by MAPPA Studios into an anime, and it is released from October 2020 to March 2021, and a season 2 is coming up, I believe. And a movie by the name of Jujutsu Kaisen 0 is coming up as well. MAPPA Studios has been scoring really big lately, from the final season of Attack on Titan to adapting Dorohedoro to, in the future, they're going to be releasing the anime of Chainsaw Man, which is really insane. And even though MAPPA is really scoring big in the last few years, they also have a huge and serious problem in not allowing its directors and animators any rest and not giving them a lot of money, which is a huge issue. So I hope MAPPA gives their animators a lot of breaks and a lot of money. Please, they really deserve it. But anyways, let's talk about Jujutsu Kaisen. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it is basically a seinen, shonen action adventure with a lot of battles, with a lot of fights, magic, but it is also simultaneously really refreshing and really creative and really fun and playful, and really puts the action adventure genre in a different light. First of all, this new wave of edgy seinen, especially the ones that MAPPA are adapting right now, is really nice. I just really like the edginess. Of course, we have the ultra violence that is Dorohedoro, and also the ultra violence of Chainsaw Man. And Jujutsu Kaisen is also really ultra violent, but also to some degree just horror, like body horror and just horror in general. There are some legitimately scary scares in this anime. That isn't strictly horror because it is incorporated into the action, but it is still pretty freaking gross sometimes. Now we have the first OP, which is a pretty youthful and fun and lively pop rock song, which I thought is really catchy and really easygoing. And as far as the song goes, I love it. The animation of the first OP, however, is not that great in my opinion, because it is pretty generic in that it's just, characters fighting seriously, blah 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 blah. So it is not that great. However, the first ED for Jujutsu Kaisen, the first ending sequence, is fucking amazing. It is a masterpiece. If you can recall this correctly, at the end of 2020, I named Ali's Lost in Paradise as one of my favorite songs of the year, because it is extremely catchy, very fun, very playful. The horns, the singing, the rapping, everything is great about this track. And then we have the visuals, which is this really colorful water brush tracing of the main characters dancing, and it just has so much style. Like, without any context, I would thought this anime is some sort of fashion anime, because all these characters have such fashion sense and have such personality in the ending sequence. It is actually amazing. It's just too bad Ali's drummer decided to commit crimes, and now it's off of Spotify and off of YouTube. But Lost in Paradise, it is a total friggin' jam. Anyways, we have the plot of Jujutsu Kaisen, where we have the main character Itadori Yuji. And Yuji is a boy whose grandfather passed away, and his dying words are, "Save as many people as possible. Help the people around you so that when you die, you don't die alone." And so Yuji was really moved by that. And one day, a curse showed up, a curse in Noroi. And a curse is not just a curse, it's basically like a monster, a supernatural monster in a way. And so Yuji decided to fight the curse and got himself into the world of Jujutsu sorcery, where there are actually people out there, Jujutsu sorcerers, who are responsible for fighting curses. There are two Jujutsu sorcerer schools in Japan. We have Tokyo and Kyoto. And however, the strongest Jujutsu sorcerer ever, at least so far in the story, is Satoru Gojo, who is a really funny, playful, childish man with white hair and a blindfold. And whenever he takes off his blindfold, man, God, he is beautiful. He is beautiful. But yeah, Gojo Satoru, he is probably the most powerful Jujutsu sorcerer of all times, and he is basically kind of a mentor for Yuji and also Yuji's classmates. Nobara, a really strong-willed, also playful but also very impulsive woman, and also Fushiguro, who is this really serious person. First of all, what I love the most about Jujutsu Kaisen is easily its characters. I don't know why, but I haven't seen a lot of animes with such a stacked character ensemble. The character ensemble of Jujutsu Kaisen is probably one of the best I've ever seen in any anime. Every single character has a personality, has a quirk, has something going for them, and they're mostly super likable and super rootable, and it's just amazing seeing all these characters together. Of course, we have Yuji, who is pretty much the dumb, silly, playful main character, which is not that interesting, but the people around him, though, are amazing. Of course, we have Nobara, who is a really impulsive girl, Fushiguro, but some of the best characters here, of course, Gojo Satoru, amazing character. Maki is one of my favorite characters in the show. She's so badass. She has no superpower. She isn't born to be a Jujutsu sorcerer, but she just, with a stick and with glasses, she just kicks ass, and she's one of the strongest women in the entire show, and it's just amazing. And then we have Todo, who is at first this, tough guy who's really positive and optimistic, but the more I watch him in the show, the more I like his character, because he's actually more than just an optimistic tough guy. He is also kind of a mentor for Yuji. He is really kind and really forward thinking, and he's just a great teacher. And also he has this obsession with this idol, and it's just this side quirk that makes his character so much more fun to watch. And the villains are okay. They're not some of the best villains I've seen in anime, but still, they are not bad. Not at all. And then we have this old guy who is the principal of the Kyoto school, and at first I thought, oh, he's just going to be this really hateable old guy who's going to turn into a villain at some point. Until he whips out an electric guitar in the middle of a fight. I'm sold. I'm sold. There's one character called Miwa who calls herself Useless Miwa. It is the only character in the entire story who is nice. Like, pure, nice, innocent, good person, period. And she's also, like, really weak. And just part of me really wants to see her pop off in season 2. Like, I just want to see Miwa become super powerful all of a sudden and just destroy everything in season 2. It would be so satisfying if that ever happens. But yeah, that's as far as the character goes. It's great. The characters are great. I like them. And we have the story itself, which is also really good. Watertight, really entertaining. No bullshitting, no beating around the bushes, straight into the point, and just really fast paced in a good way. The opening few episodes certainly are confusing because you're immediately dropped into this world of jujutsu, but what I love about the first 3 episodes is that the most powerful antagonist and the most powerful protagonist is already revealed, and that is Sukuna and Satoru Gojo, respectively. But usually when stories reveal the strongest thing immediately in the beginning, everything else is just going to be weaker. But no, because for some reason the characters are so well written and the fights are so interesting, I still find myself invested in a lot of these battles and in a lot of these fights. So the story immediately revealing the most powerful antagonist and protagonist in the beginning, not a huge deal. In fact, kind of refreshing. And then on episode 5, the anime decides to pull off something that usually stories don't pull off until at the very end. And again, it's surprising. It's surprising that the story would turn into such an interesting direction, but there it is, and it actually worked really well because that also served as a sort of plot device for an arc where it's basically just Yuji alone plus Gojo Satoru, Gojo Satoru, and also this other guy Nanami against the villains of the arc, which then leads to Mahito, who is a curse, a supernatural being who is really powerful and can talk. He is a guy with a patchwork all over him, and his power is that he can transform people, which is incredibly disgusting. He basically touches someone, and that someone like bursts into a non-human. It's disgusting. And that non-human entity is still alive and is now working for Mahito, the patchwork man. And Mahito isn't working alone. He's also working with Jogo, who is this volcano guy who has a volcano on top of his head, and also this other person, this other curse, who has tree trunks as her. It's a her, right? Because it's a girl, it's a woman voicing the character. I don't know. It's genderless, but I'm gonna just call it her. She has two tree trunks as her eyes, and she's like Groot, right? And she can like control the nature and trees, wood balls. She can blast like wood, and she can like make a field of flowers and distract you. Like, these are pretty interesting villain powers, and it's pretty interesting. But anyways, we have the character of Junpei, who is kind of like Anakin Skywalker in the prequel, where he runs into a lot of problems. He got bullied, and he ran into Mahito, and Mahito decided to turn him into the dark side and use him as a pawn. And Yuji was there. Yuji became friends with Junpei, and there is this arc where Junpei had to decide whether to follow the dark side or follow Yuji, and then subsequently we have the fight between Yuji and Mahito, and we also have Nanami, who is helping Yuji, and this is one of the best fights in the season, in my opinion. There's this thing that every Jujutsu sorcerer and curse user and curse can do, and that is called domain expansion, where you can basically transport your opponent into your world. And when Mahito did that, it was like a layer, it was like a kaleidoscope of hands and arms, and wow, this is gorgeous. It is disgusting and gorgeous and beautifully animated. But anyways, Nanami, I forgot to mention him. Nanami is another absolutely fantastic character. He is also a really serious person, really calculated, has no feelings whatsoever. And his power is that he can calculate with 7 to 3. With this ratio, he can create a weak spot in all of his opponents. So, say his opponent's arm, he can create like a ratio like 7 to 3, and so he would use a knife and chop off that part, and the villain would actually get hurt. And that is really friggin' cool. So that fight is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. And again, there are death scenes. There are death scenes that really raise the stakes for the story, which is very good, very shocking too. Anyways, we move on to the second core of season 1, where we have OP2 and ED2. And unfortunately, I have to admit, they're bad. They are actually bad, especially OP2. OP2 is actually kind of garbage in my opinion. It's your average generic passionate rock song, unfortunately. And the animation is, again, just very generic regular stuff where the main characters just fight. The animation for ED2 is really heartwarming in that at first it's vertical because Yuji is filming with his phone and he's filming like the people around him, which is really heartwarming. And the song itself is a really wholesome, sort of this warm, acoustic song, and I just thought it's too emotional for the first season of the anime. Like, leave this for like the second last season for the anime. It's just too emotional. But aside from the OP2 and ED2s, we also have Juju Sanpu, which is basically this little end credits thing at the end of every episode, and they're all really good. And a lot of animes recently have been doing that kind of stuff. Demon Slayer has been doing that kind of stuff, like, haha, Demon Slayer secret. But Juju Sanpu is way funnier because it's way more self-aware, way more playful, and doesn't hold back, and they're just really funny. But anyways, we have the next arc-ish type, where we have the Tokyo students versus the Kyoto students in an exchange event. Yeah, that is what people would usually call a tournament arc, which is whenever I see a tournament arc, but yeah, the characters from the Kyoto side of things and Tokyo side of things are all really good, and seeing them fight is just amazing. Of course, we have Maki with a stick. We have Useless Miwa, who's actually part of the Kyoto side. Todo, who is part of the Kyoto side. We have Panda. We have this character, and he's so overpowered. He doesn't fight or anything. His greatest weapon is his mouth, because everything he says usually is ingredients of an onigiri, like salmon, tuna, mayo, kelp, seaweed, rice, sesame. But when he seriously says something, he would unzip his jacket, revealing his mouth, and he would say something like "ugokanai," like "don't move," and the opponent would actually freeze, which is incredibly powerful. He can also do like blast away, and the opponent would just blast away. It's actually really friggin' smart. It's like JoJo stands, but Jujutsu. So that's already amazing. And then on the Kyoto side of things, we have a couple of characters which I think just pales a lot in comparison, like the witch character. The only thing going for her is that she's a witch. She flies on a broom. And then we have Iron Man. But Jujutsu Iron Man, basically. Yeah. But still, in these episodes, it's basically one-on-one. We have Todo versus Yuji, which is this really wholesome fight between the two. Like, at first, it seems like a really hostile fight, but then Todo and Yuji became close and respected one another, and it's amazing. We have the Maki versus Miwa fight, which is not that memorable, but the Maki versus Mei fight is amazing. I hate it when animes just blast music in fight scenes. It just really takes the tension away. But in the Maki versus Mei fight, Mei, by the way, is the twin sister, or actually the younger sister of Maki, who is a crazy short-haired girl with a pistol. And that fight is really brilliant. It's silent, it doesn't have a lot of music, and it feel serious. The Fushiguro versus the other guy fight was also pretty good, but all these fights were interrupted with the tree man showing up with the tree trunks as eyes, the tree man or the tree woman. And this goes on to become my favorite fight of the entire season so far, where it's a super long fight that goes over like 3 or 4 episodes, where it's the mouth attack person and Fushiguro and the other person fighting him. They fail, and then it's Maki and Fushiguro versus him. They fail, and then we have Todo and Yuji fighting him, and it became a super long and complicated fight. And when Todo revealed his technique, his ability, it was amazing. Usually animes relying solely on action are not really that good, but I'll make this an exception. The action is actually so brilliant. I was actually surprised. So there's that. Anyways, we have the baseball episode, which is a fun little, interlude kind of episode. And then we have the last 3 episodes where they essentially take on the mole-like special grade curse, as well as the cursed brothers. And these fights are amazing. We see Fushiguro going berserk, and then in the last episode we see Nobara going berserk, and oh my god, she's so awesome. Like, a lot of Hollywood movies nowadays are like, oh, female empowerment, blah blah, and it's just so friggin' annoying when they have to remind the audience, hey, I'm a woman, look, I don't need a man to do this for me, haha, man stupid, woman strong. But actually, if you look at animes, there are a lot of strong female characters that are actually really well written. We have Maki and we have Nobara, and she is badass. She is amazing when she like hammered the nails and the straw doll. Like, it's just, actually, she's amazing. And yeah, we have Fushiguro going berserk. That is also an amazing scene and a pretty good ending, even though the patchwork guy is still alive. And I wouldn't say it's the strongest ending to a season. I still think the last 3 episodes are pretty great. So yeah, these are my thoughts on the anime overall. I don't think it is like the best anime ever, because obviously it has small flaws here and there, but they're only small. Ultimately, it is a fantastic anime with fantastic characters, amazing animation, and very entertaining plot, very great battles. I'm giving Jujutsu Kaisen a strong 8 to a light 9 out of 10. So, have you watched Jujutsu Kaisen? From 1 to 10, how much is rated? Like it, and subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching.